In a year like no other, welcome to our virtual campaign celebration event entitled Hope is Not Quarantined. I'm Ruth Smith, and I have the honor of serving as the moderator for today's event. And I'd like to start us off by introducing Tommy Taylor, the CEO of the United Way of the Cape Fear area.
Good morning. My name is Tommy Taylor with the United Way of the Cape Fear area. Your local United Way has been here since 1941. We formed in response to Pearl Harbor. We've been responding ever since, whether it be Floyd or Florence or a pandemic. And one thing has not changed since then. Local heroes like yourselves have stood up and driven philanthropy in our region and stood up for their neighbors and helped each other. Personally, my involvement with the United Way goes back to my hunger relief days. I was doing a study to get data to increase resources by writing grants, etc. And I knew hunger was wrong, but I really didn't see the whole picture at that point in time until I interviewed a woman. I knew she had 3 kids. I knew she had 3 jobs. And I had to ask her some very tough questions. And one of those questions was, have you ever skipped meals for your child because you did not have enough food in the house? She broke down into tears, and that moment really changed my life. I told myself, we can do better than this. I know we are better than this. And the more I looked into it, I realized this was not about poor choices. This was about really bad chances that could happen to anyone. Currently, we're investing in 43 different solutions. This isn't something one agency can do alone. And that's the reason the United Way is so important is, whether it be an issue of domestic violence, trauma, substance use, it could be anything from hunger to literacy. We're out there making sure that all these programs are working in tandem to solve problems for our community, to keep people out of situations where they aren't self-sufficient. We're fighting for a healthy, safe, and prosperous community. And I hope that you will join us. So thank you for being here for Cape Fear and joining us this morning.
The past few months have been challenging for everyone. We have awakened to a new reality of social distancing, with schools closing and having to work from home. But the citizens of Cape Fear have been stronger than the historical crisis of COVID-19. We have kept the spirit of our community alive, even as we are all apart. As people in our community have feared for their health, struggled to make ends meet, and battled isolation from friends and family, we have been reminded that even when times are tough, our community rises to the occasion. At United Way, we are the stop talking, start doing, band together, and take on the impossible taskmasters. We address the problems no one wants to talk about. In fact, we go looking for them, and we find every dollar to address them. No matter the obstacles, no matter the odds, we unite around our community's most complex problems. New heroes inspire us. With the restrictions, job losses, and furloughs affecting countless people since the pandemic, the 44 local United Way nonprofit partner agencies have stepped up to the plate. These organizations are meeting greater needs with fewer resources, but their commitment to helping the most vulnerable among us has not changed. From New Hanover to Pender, from Brunswick to Columbus County, the folks in our communities are helping their neighbors and standing in solidarity with the essential workers, first responders, and healthcare professionals, keeping the communities of the Cape Fear area running. We are all proving that even in this difficult time, hope is not quarantined, compassion is not isolated, and we are all living united. We help people. We fight for those who need a voice and those whose names we do not know. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every single person in our community. We help people get back to living. Hope isn't a one-man band, and change doesn't happen alone. United, we feed. United, we teach. United, we heal. United, we thrive. Please join the fight and make a contribution to help the most people. United Way is here for Cape Fear.
Wow, I've seen that video several times, and every time it just gets me. It really captures the spirit of our community. Our panel today is comprised of several community leaders who are going to talk about what United Way means to them. Dr. Chris Prentice is the United Way board chairman this year and a professor at UNCW. Lisa Leith is the founder of Leith HR, a former board chair and a current member of our cabinet committee. Amy Feith is the executive director of the Carousel Center, an important agency partner for the United Way. Carol Caldwell is here from Columbus County representing the Dream Center. And Frankie Roberts, the executive director of Link, is here, another agency partner of the United Way. Chris, you're serving as chairman of the board for United Way of the Cape Fear this year. Clearly, you have a motivation. What's your why? Why are you giving your time and energy?
Sure, yeah, it's an easy one for me. As someone that teaches about the nonprofit sector and the importance of the organizations that comprise it, I always start with anchor institutions that have been long trusted in their community for decades, and the United Way is the place to start. Specifically in this community, UW-CFA has been around for about 8 decades as an anchor institution that for-profit organizations, other nonprofits, governmental entities turn to as a leader in this town when they need to get something done. As far as examples of what I've seen that's worked in this community and that draws me to UW-CFA, I think of it as an incubator of sorts for social innovation. Anytime the various sectors have come together to try and accomplish something great, in the 8 years that I've been here, they've come to the United Way and said, you know, we want to get something done. For instance, with Blue Ribbon Commission on the Prevention of Youth Violence, they said, we're interested in reducing youth violence, and specifically the North Side. And we have an idea, if we pull the right people together, get them in a room and apply concerted attention and energy to this effort, we might just have an effect. We might be able to help. United Way was there to stand up the organization, provide the infrastructure and initial staffing that allowed for that initiative and now organization, Blue Ribbon Commission on the Prevention of Youth Violence, which is now known as Voyage, to really launch. And it's a community-based organization that I'm proud to say I was a part of as well. That wouldn't have happened without the United Way.
Thanks, Chris. Carol, what's your why for being involved in the United Way?
Okay, I guess the why for being involved with the United Way is a personal, comes from a personal perspective as well as an organizational perspective. One of the things that I have always had throughout my life was someone who believed in me, whether it was my parents or if it was teachers or someone at church or someone in the community. And one of the things that I have seen throughout my life is that there are a lot of people living in this world who have no one who believes in them. They have no one who sees the potential that they have, no one who helps them to realize their dreams. And so as a person and as the Dream Center, that was one of the things that we always focused on, was helping those people to realize their dreams and realize their potential. The United Way, I guess in a way, has kind of looked at organizations such as ours and has seen our potential and what we can do and what we have done. And that support that they have given us has enabled us to continue to push forward. And so that is the big why, I guess, of why we do what we do and why we feel so connected with the United Way of the Cape Fear area.
Thank you, Carol. Amy, you run a fabulous organization in the Carousel Center. You're a great agency partner. Tell us a little bit about your why. Why are you involved in the United Way?
So as a community partner of the United Way, a longstanding one, I've been in the area since 1994, so I've had the privilege of working in many different capacities with the United Way of the Cape Fear area. I feel like all of us as nonprofits in the community tend to be in a situation where we're having to be pitted against each other a little bit for the grant funding resources and donations and creative fundraising, and especially now with the pandemic and having to go virtual with a lot of those things. What I love about our United Way efforts is it is a united effort, and we get to see at United Way and all of the partner agencies how we work together. And so I always joke and say, you can't pick a nonprofit that I won't be able to give you a 6 degrees, probably not even 6 degrees of separation from why, even if you support that particular nonprofit, you're also supporting Carousel Center by virtue, just because we're so intrinsically entwined in a web of services that where you think you're only giving to one agency for one reason, like a foster grandparents program or a grandparents support group, you don't realize that a lot of Carousel Center's children who are abused and neglected may be put in the placement and care of now their grandparents as parents who will need that service. And so it's really been an even easier way as an executive director to see how we need to band together and pool our resources so that if we have but somebody else doesn't, United Way sort of is that captain of that team that really helps us to look at those things, specifically in the pandemic, specifically in any other disaster time, but also in our ongoing times when it was, normal.
Thank you so much, Amy. Lisa, former board chair, still involved with United Way. Give us your why.
So as far as my why, I've volunteered and advocated and given to the United Way of the Cape Fear area since 2008 when I moved here from New York City. And I've fallen in love with the community, and my family has followed me here. And I truly do believe that once you fall in love with this community, you owe it to the community to give back in even some small, meaningful way. And for me, the easiest way to get involved was with the United Way of the Cape Fear area through my workplace campaign at the time with Corning in 2008. And really loved it. Was a big cheerleader for all the different partner agencies that would come in and talk to our 1,000+ employees. Since then, I was a board member for 6 years, and I'm now a cabinet member, and I've watched some really, truly amazing things happen because of United Way's role as a community funder and also community collaborator. And so after donating, my family has probably donated thousands of hours of volunteer time on projects. Some of my most fun and memorable projects were staffing the multi-agency resource center after Florence at the mall. It was really touching. Feeding kids at Portia Hines Community Park for community picnics, serving snacks, peanut butter and jelly to kids at Dreams after school. Not the most glamorous, but it's probably the most fun peanut butter and jelly I've ever made. Staffing, you can volunteer and staff the beer festival for the Carousel Center through Share Cape Fear, and of course doing work on Wilmington with the United Way team. When you see kids smile at the park because they get to watch a movie in the dark and they're normally not allowed outside their house during dark, it makes you want to cry and it makes you want to give. It makes you want to give, volunteer, and advocate, and I would encourage everybody to do that with the United Way of Cape Fear.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Frankie, Link, what a great organization. Tell us your experiences with United Way. Why are you involved?
Well, my why with the United Way is almost why not. Historically, United Ways across the country is the go-to when it comes to community engagement, when it comes to triumphant programming, just when it comes to an example of the go-to when a program needs support. You thinking about the United Way. So my why is why not? And every person that I know always asks the question, do you get funded from the United Way? And so that's almost a staple that has built credibility over time, that if you get funded from the United Way, then your nonprofit is a credible nonprofit that merits opportunity within communities. We have gotten to know nonprofits through the United Way Consortium or through their network. We have learned a lot from other agencies as we have been in existence 20 years. But when you talk about United Way, you talk about people that United Way has supported for 50 and 60 years. So we've had the benefit of being in the room with the other nonprofits. So those have been meaningful opportunities as well as relationships.
Thanks so much, Frankie. And now our next question, I'm going to start with Amy. Can you talk about how you've witnessed gifts to the United Way being leveraged in our community for the greater good?
So we are a partner agency. 𝐇𝐎 Center is a partner agency for mental health services for kids who have been physically or sexually abused. So a lot of our work is in the community efforts of helping those children do the hard work of healing so they can get back to just being children. And so part of that, our partnership with United Way allows for us to do that, particularly leveraging the fact that a lot of our children that come to us are either uninsured or underinsured. And so it is not a child's fault that they have to come to 𝐇𝐎 Center because they're survivors of violence. So it is important to our community that we have an agency like 𝐇𝐎 that is available regardless of a family's ability to pay, and to have the best quality professionals that are the best trauma specialists for children to provide that service. But more importantly, what I've seen as the administrator of an agency is I've seen more often that our grantors, funders, and donors are generally people who are looking at who is giving money to this agency also, who is seeing them as good stewards of funding. And a United Way endorsement, if you will, being a partner agency with the United Way gives me leverage because I'm already endorsed on some level because it's such a familiar program to a lot of grantors and funders. But more than that, now our funders are even looking for who is doing the local buy-in, who is investing within your local community. And United Way of the Cape Fear area is always that agency that's going to help us leverage the funds we get from them to be matched or to double or to triple. However, we're able to exponentially be able to ripple out that funding resource that will allow that piece that is the United Way piece to fit in now with a bigger piece of state or federal funding that we might not have been able to get access if we didn't have a match funding that would have demonstrated that there are people that believe in us and are willing to invest locally.
Thank you, Amy. Frankie, the same question. How have you seen gifts leveraged for the greater good?
Yeah, for us, we receive funding from places like Governor's Crime Commission at the state level. And so one fortunate occurrence with United Way is Governor's Crime Commission requires a 25% match. And so we have been able to use United Way dollars to match funds from Governor's Crime Commission that otherwise we wouldn't have been able to get if we didn't have a way to leverage those dollars or to the 25% match. And a few times I called and say, United Way, man, we need these dollars to get other dollars. And so one of the good pieces is that you can use United Way funds to leverage matching funds. And so that's been a big example for us because if I really said it in a very authentic way, yeah, United Way bailed us out a few times.
Thank you, Frankie. And Dr. Prentice, as a professor at UNCW who focuses on nonprofit management, talk a little bit about how United Way leverages the gifts for the entire community.
Yeah, so I would say the United Way has done a fantastic job of leveraging available resources to create greater impact within this community. As you know, we raise and leverage significant financial resources from workplace campaign giving, private donations, government grants, and other non-financial resources to support local nonprofit organizations that are on the front lines doing great work. Well, when we meet a significant event like we did a couple of years ago with Florence, United Way is well positioned to tap into those connections and leverage those resources to bring more money, more help into this community, not just from locally sourced organizations, but from outside of the Cape Fear region, bringing it in. And specific to Florence, we were able to bring in an additional $2 million in outside support that went immediately to disaster relief and recovery efforts. In addition to Florence, we have continued our disaster relief and recovery funds, and we are currently raising money and leveraging those resources to provide benefits to people that are adversely affected by COVID-19.
Thank you, Chris. And for our final question, I'm going to start with Lisa. Why should folks give to the United Way?
The number one reason that folks should give to United Way of the Cape Fear area is financial stewardship. So a group of community volunteers work every year 40 to 80 hours reviewing grant applications, listening to live presentations, and doing the hard work on behalf of United Way donors. So partners like Kids Making It, Communities in Schools, Warm, Good Shepherd, Nourish NC, and 40 other partner agencies rely on these grants that are funded at the recommendation of this volunteer investment committee. Partner agencies actually like it when they get United Way money. Of course, they want to get all the money, but the interesting part, and I think people don't really understand, is by getting a United Way grant, it actually gives them a leg up on getting other grants. So United Way has such a strict and rigorous process when you go to apply for money that it gives them an edge when they go to ask for money from other grant funds. So you really have the opportunity to impact the lives of many folks through our partner agencies in the Cape Fear area by getting involved with your United Way. Your local dollars stay local.
Thank you, Lisa. Carol, same question. Why do you believe people should give to the United Way?
I believe that people should give to the United Way because the United Way believes in the potential of people. The United Way believes in the potential of organizations being able to help. The United Way has helped us to be able to reach out and help people to realize their dreams. That is what I think the United Way is all about, in that it helps people to realize and fulfill those dreams that they may have, those dreams that they don't know that they have sometimes. But it helps people to see that potential. And that is what we, the Dream Center as an organization, what we believe. And I also believe that is what the United Way believes.
Thank you, Carol. Amy, why should people give to the United Way?
So why I give to United Way is because they are still very committed to local. You give here, it stays here. It doesn't go someplace else. I give to United Way because I know, as part of an agency, that if you're giving to me, or you're giving to Carousel Center, or you're giving to Rape Crisis Center, or you're giving to Wilmington Area Rebuilding Ministry, ultimately you're still giving to Carousel Center, because the web of support that we get from United Way as a unique network of nonprofits allows for us to each do our jobs and specialize and go in the lane that is our scope of services. And so I give to United Way because they really encourage that, and they encourage, as a captain of a team of nonprofits, for us to mobilize and use our resources in the best and most economical way. If I've got extra, they're connecting us with people who need. If they've got extra and they've got something I need, then that nonprofit is probably coming to us because of a connection through the United Way. So that's why I give.
Thank you, Amy. And Frankie, why do you believe people should give to the United Way?
Well, I think people should give to United Way because they have demonstrated and proven over the last 40, 50, and I don't know the history, but it's been a really long time that United Way have demonstrated that they are in it to win it, in it for the long haul, have proven that they know how to put together agencies in a collaborative sense. They have proven that they are the go-to. And as I said earlier, they are able to develop credibility. When you say that you are a United Way agency, people look at you different. They embrace you different. They almost say, then we might just support you too. So, man, you got to be a part of United Way. Even if United Way doesn't fund you, you need to be in United Way's network because they have a powerful network. And at the end of the day, they are about healing communities. And they do it and they understand that it takes a lot of agencies to heal a community, that one agency cannot do it. And I would say that that is their mission, is to ensure that everybody is in it to win it. And so in our motto, we help people turn setbacks into comebacks. So I would say that United Way is an agency that is a set-apart agency that just kind of set people up for success. So it ain't about setbacks to comebacks. It's just about, hey, we just setting you up to be successful from the beginning.
Thank you. And Chris, final question. Why do you believe people should give to the United Way?
People should give to the United Way because it's a trusted leader within this community. Beyond the established record of success that it's had in creating positive community impact and positive social change over the last 8 decades, you can give to the United Way and know that your gift is going to a nonprofit agency on the front lines doing great work. That's feeding our children, sheltering our families, providing literacy to kids and financial stability to neighborhoods and families. The United Way, a gift to the United Way is a gift in support of your neighbor, and it allows you to, from an investment standpoint, from a donation standpoint, to support all of the great work of some of the best nonprofit organizations in this town that receive funds from the United Way. So if you want to give directly to a nonprofit organization, we encourage that. We support that philanthropic engagement. If you want to give to the United Way, we will ensure that your gift is given to the nonprofit organizations in this town doing the absolute best work, getting the most out of their dollars. And it allows you to invest in not just one cause, but into multiple causes that help support our community, our neighbors, and our kids.
Hi, my name is James Jarvis, and I'm the Executive Director for the Cape Fear Area Chapter of the American Red Cross. So in the 4 counties that the United Way of the Cape Fear area supports, last year we helped 65 families comprised of 196 people after they had experienced a home fire, and we provided them with more than $40,000 in direct financial assistance. So that's thanks to our partnership with the United Way that supports us and supports this community. And of course, the thing that most people think of when they think of the American Red Cross is blood. We provide 40% of our nation's blood supply. Giving blood is so critically important. There's no other way to get blood products. We can't manufacture it in a lab. The only way we can get life-saving blood is by someone being willing to roll up a sleeve and donate. So we are all in this together. When you support the United Way of the Cape Fear area, you are supporting organizations like the American Red Cross that are there when there's a disaster, that are there at 2 o'clock in the morning when you have a home fire, that are there to teach you life-saving CPR, and that are there to help support our military families when they go forward to protect our freedom. So all of those things are possible when we live united and you support your United Way.
I'd now like to introduce Mike Ashcraft, a member of the United Way Board and the pastor of the Port City Community Church.
Hey everybody, my name is Mike Ashcraft, and I've had the privilege of serving on the board and have been on the board of United Way for a little over a year now. And my task in our time is to really, I think, bring some inspiration around the idea of togetherness. And the way I want to do that is not really talk about maybe something to inspire you, but just tell you what has inspired me as I've been able to sit on the board and to really get firsthand look at what happens day in and day out in the life of the United Way and the impact that they have, that we have, I suppose, on our community and solving some of the deepest problems that our culture faces. We talk about togetherness. Everybody loves the idea of togetherness, right? That it's a really cool idea to do things together. until we realize the price of togetherness, that togetherness comes at the expense of our own will and our own ways. It's kind of like love. Everybody loves the idea of love. We talk about we ought to love one another. And in fact, there's a really famous definition of love. It's found in the Bible, if you're familiar with that. And it says, love is patient and love is kind and love is not jealous. And in fact, people make posters of this, or they take it and they write it in calligraphy and they put flowers around it. And it's a beautiful saying to say that love is patient and love is kind. Until you actually have to be patient, right? Then it becomes kind of a pain. And the same thing is true with togetherness. Togetherness is a really good idea until it meets what's required when it comes to this idea of self-sacrifice, of this sense of selflessness. And really, this is what I've seen on display. You see, we live in a culture that is driven by comparison and by competition, where everybody is trying to do something more than someone else or one-up someone else. And what I've been able to see and experience in my time on the board at United Way is really the antithesis of this. I've sat on the board with these men and women. I've watched them sacrifice and give themselves and doing incredible things to meet some of the most pressing needs in our community, working with our partners in all sorts of different ways that are really, really hands-on, and some of them are just behind the scenes and very selfless. And more importantly, in the work that has been done, is the heart in which the people, the men and women on this team have done that. And it's not just the board, it ripples out from there. And the board and the staff, it ripples out to the volunteers and then into the partner organizations. And that's one of the strengths, that the United Way partners with dozens of partners around our community, around our region, in order to meet and to address some of the most difficult and most pressing needs that our culture faces. And these are dozens of partners reaching into the most pressing needs. And when you look and you explore this very far, what you see is stories of our partners, these organizations, but it's not stories of organizations. What it is it's actually stories of one person helping another person at one point in time. And this just happens all the time, consistently over time. And this is what together looks like. This is what makes together personal. And that's what we have to get to. That togetherness is not just a concept that allows us to do things, but it's actually a way for us to exist and to operate in such a way that it makes it really personal, that we, you and I, get to be involved in what is actually happening in the world around us to make a difference in the lives of people who desperately need it, that all of us desperately need to be a part of this. This is what together looks like, and this is what makes it personal. In fact, when we look around at our culture and what we see is the overwhelming need, so many people needing so many things, and we wonder where to begin. And what often happens is we identify these big problems and we get lured into thinking that they need big solutions. What I've learned and what I want to encourage you with is that oftentimes we get lured into thinking we have to do big things, but big things are really just 1,000 little things done well and done faithfully over time, faithfully and consistently over time. And I think that's what is represented in the way the United Way takes its approach and the way it works with its partners. It's just 1,000 little things done really well, done really consistently, and done really personally over a long period of time. And it makes a huge difference. One of my favorite stories, and one of the things that I'm reminded of, just when I look around and see all the things that need to be done, and sometimes I'm overwhelmed by that. There's a story that circulated years ago, and perhaps some of you are familiar with it. It's about a little boy walking on the beach with some starfish, and this little boy's out one early in the morning, and he comes across, and the sun is coming up, and he sees there are just thousands and thousands of starfish that have been washed up on the shore. And he quickly realizes that if the sun comes up and when it gets hot, these starfish are all going to die. And so he begins, reaches down and picks up a starfish. He looks at it and he throws it out in the ocean. Then he picks up another one, he throws it in the ocean. He picks up another one and throws it in the ocean. And an older gentleman is walking by towards him as he kind of sees what this little boy is doing. He walks up to him and he says, "Son, don't you see all these starfish? Do you really think you're going to make any difference at all?" And the little boy thinks for a second. He reaches down, he picks up a starfish, he looks at it, and he throws it in the ocean and says, "Made a difference to that one." Then he picked up another one, he looked at it and says, "And it made a difference to that one." And he threw it and he continued to do this. And I think that's the picture for us, for you and for I. When we sort of look around, we see all the things that the world so desperately needs. And we get overwhelmed by the need. Instead, I want us to look in front of us and say, what can we do to make a difference to that one, and to make a difference to that one, and to make a difference to that one? And we do this together, and it becomes personal, it becomes effective. And I want to remind you that there are big things that are being done in our region because of what the United Way is doing, but they are done 1,000 little things at a time. So thank you so much for what you do, and thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of it.
When I first moved to Wilmington 10 years ago, I noticed immediately that the people in this community are invested, committed to giving back, and love where they live. I really wanted to get involved, but I didn't even know where to start. Thankfully, shortly after that, my employer participated in a corporate campaign with the United Way. Through that campaign, I learned how the United Way works with our community to leverage resources by partnering with local agencies across the area. Together, they fight for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in our community. Part of our campaign is focused on education and understanding the nonprofits that serve this community under the United Way's umbrella. Knowledge is power, and because of this, I've been able to help others in their time of need by sharing resources. But there's one more piece that has made the biggest impact on me personally, and that's volunteerism. Donating my time to volunteer and learning firsthand what these agencies do to serve those in need has helped me find my passion and my why for giving to the United Way. The more I learn through volunteering, the more connected I feel to those causes, and I can actually see how my donation is making a difference. Knowing that the United Way stretches my dollars and provides a social safety net for our nonprofit agencies and community impact initiatives makes me feel confident about my investment into our community. If this were normal times and we were all in one room together, I would ask for a raise of hands if you or your family has ever fallen on hard times. My hand would be raised as well. Hard times aren't anticipated and are often unexpected, and that's where the United Way steps in. I've witnessed their investment to tackle our community's most pressing issues, such as Hurricane Florence and the COVID-19 pandemic, with a sustained effort. The United Way team's passion for this community is undeniable, and their servant leadership is a true testament as to why they are one of the strongest leaders in the nonprofit giving industry. When I look back at the Hurricane Florence crisis, the United Way of the Cape Fear played the role as team players on the field, but also as the cheerleaders on the sidelines. They were there for this community. They worked nonstop to secure food, clothing, and shelter for those in need, and their positive spirits lifted up those around them. When the unexpected happens, the United Way adapts and develops thoughtful solutions for their partner agencies so that we can have a stronger, united, and more resilient community. Hard times are tough if we tackle them alone, but together we can thrive and get through anything. What are you passionate about? Whether it's financial stability, health, or education, these all align with the vision and values of the United Way of the Cape Fear. If we as a community live united, we can work to enhance the quality of life for the most vulnerable populations in the greater Cape Fear area. I encourage each of you to get involved. Learn about the United Way, our agencies, our community, and our children. Donate your time, talent, and treasure because thankfully, hope isn't quarantined, and together we can build a brighter future for our area. If you're like me, you may want to better understand how your dollars can make a difference. Today, I wanted to provide a couple examples of the investment you are making in our community by choosing to give your treasure to the United Way. With a $25 donation, the Cape Fear Literacy Council can pay tuition for one adult to learn to read. With your $100 donation, this covers the cost of a day of shelter for an individual or family escaping domestic violence through the Healthy Hotels Initiative. With your $1,000 donation, you can provide after-school programming, snack, and an evening meal for an entire year for a child at the Brigade Boys and Girls Club. I'm fortunate that Corning Credit Union offers automatic deductions from my payroll as part of our United Way campaign, but that isn't the case for everyone. Thankfully, it's easy to give, and the United Way offers a couple of different options. You can donate one time or monthly through our text to give by texting HERE for Cape Fear, all in capital letters, to the number 44321. You can also donate online through Give Lively and even set up your own fundraiser for the United Way. Why do I give to the United Way? Because I know my donation is making a difference, and the United Way aligns with my passions and what I care about most, which is food insecurity and financial well-being. I encourage you to find your passions by visiting the United Way of the Cape Fear Area's website today to learn more about the nonprofit agencies they serve and to find out how you can get involved.
Retirement is an exciting time full of transition, change, and new opportunities. It's both an opportunity for individuals to participate in volunteer projects and support programs vital to the entire community. Retire United members of United Way of the Cape Fear area or retirees or soon-to-be retirees who recognize the important role volunteerism and philanthropy play in strengthening our community. These are people who care deeply about their community and want to play an integral part in bringing help and hope to those in need. We invite you to be one of these people. You can help your community in ways you've always envisioned, but maybe didn't have the time for. We can connect you to fulfilling volunteer opportunities that align with your interests and passions. From helping children with their reading skills, serving on a board of directors or a nonprofit committee, or considering a planned giving opportunity, you can make a major impact by investing your time, talent, and treasure in the children, families, and neighborhoods of our community.
My message to other retirees in terms of contributing and participating in the United Way, particularly if you're not from this area, is it's a great way to connect with your community. You really, for us at least, I think we get more out of it than we could possibly give.
A lot more, yeah. There is no better way, or no better mechanism, I think, to get to know the region and the communities that you're a part of and that are around us than participating actively in the United Way. Not just contributing, but participating in an evaluation team and getting to know, as I said, some great not-for-profits that do some extraordinary work that is terribly needed in this region. It really is an exceptional opportunity, and the United Way provides that.
United Way invites you to expand your community involvement, participate in volunteer opportunities, join in social events, continue annual giving, and much more during your retirement. To connect and get involved, please visit our website at www.uwcfa.org or call 910-798-3900. United, we can make an impact together.
I'd now like to introduce Jay Wildman, the CEO of GE Hitachi Nuclear Energy and the chair of this year's campaign cabinet.
Thanks, Ruth. Appreciate that, and great job on that panel. As Ruth said, I'm President and CEO of GE Hitachi Nuclear's business up in Ksselheim. But more importantly today, I'm the 2020 chair of the campaign committee for the United Way in the Cape Fear area. And as I think about all those great answers that were given on the panel today by our panelists, I think about my why. And I would say that with over 2,000 families in the GE company here in the Cape Fear area, they are a big part of this community. And making sure they have great lives in a great community is sort of my why. So with that, I'd also like to give a shout out to the great Retire United video. That was a fantastic way to be able to continue moving from your company's business and engagement with the United Way and staying involved in the community. So guys, normally we would be out at the Railroad Museum together and getting the energy level up and celebrating and getting ready for this year's campaign. That's okay. This year we're doing it virtually. I certainly appreciate your time and I appreciate your care about the Cape Fear United Way. And I'm looking forward to a great 2020 campaign. Thank you and enjoy.
Thank you, Jay. This concludes our program today, but we ask that you let this spirit continue on as you share this video with your friends and family and colleagues. Please make sure to share it out on social media, go to our website, and let folks know what's going on in your community. Make sure that they know that hope is not quarantined.